Deleted Session, November 5, 1977. Good evening. Now, apropos of your firework, fire of that temperature will indeed burn the flesh if it touched it in your practical reality. In a manner of speaking, the man's feet touch the ground, but they do not touch the fire. The man believes his feet will not be burned. That belief generates certain actions or events, so that practically speaking, while he sees the flames and perhaps smells the smoke, the heat of the fire will have no effect, because for him its character is changed. He ignores the evidences of his senses. For him, the area taken up by the fire becomes dimensionally neutral. For the time of his work, that space is empty. In a manner of speaking, again, he erases the fire's practicality, so that it can have no effect. If you have a light bulb lit, it is bright and hot. If you turn the light off, the bulb is still there. Its light and heat become latent, but practically non-existent. To your hand, a light bulb that is not turned on will be cool. To your eyes, it will not be bright. The bulb is still there, but its power is neutralized. Our fireworker turns off the fire for himself, however, though its form, like the turned-off light bulb, remains. His faith is the power that neutralizes the fire. You live in a world of root assumptions, to which all agree. They are the ground rules of your reality, but not the ground rules of all realities or of all probabilities. Your fireworker inserts another probability, and hence reacts to and with that reality of fire in ways that are not considered normal. I have said these feet touch the ground but not the flames. Actually, what I can only call an invisible shield protects him from the flames, so that his feet and ankles are surrounded by an aura that repels the fire actively. This is a definite force, a psychic force field, if you will. This ability is quite ancient, though little known. Give us a moment. In very ancient times, medicine men had to perform such acts as part of their initiation ceremonies. I am not sure how to explain the process, however. The belief triggers body chemicals in a certain fashion, though the process itself involves an interaction between the air and the chemicals of the body, which form together a protective shield that repels the action of the fire. What you actually have is a case of cold flame. Stories of walking on water give you the same kind of proposition, where you have to all effects and purposes dry water or solid water. You do not seem to understand the importance of your organizations, particularly your habitual biological ones, for they dictate the ways in which you examine your reality. And they program also your biological reaction in very practical ways. They program the interactions within the body so that certain effects always appear inevitable, when such in basic terms is not always the case. Necessarily, you can intrinsically walk on fire or thrust your hands into the flames and be unburned. I would not suggest that too many try it, however. The mind and its beliefs are the basic determinants. The fireworker shares his reality with non-fireworkers, in general terms. But in this one instance, the fireworker superimposes a strong counterbelief, and it works. The rules of physics are no more than gentlemen's rules of the game, but the fireworker plays a different game, with different rules, and they work also. Give us a moment. In Framework 2, as mentioned, existence is also organized in a completely different fashion than you are used to. In that framework, the best possible overall conditions for growth are available. Your Fireworker seems to be breaking a natural law. He is simply acting according to another belief, but he is being true to his nature, which in this case led him to the desire for such an achievement. In Framework 2, therefore, the nature of each individual actively seeks out its own greatest potential. In the word of Framework 1, practically speaking, in the world where time and space are realities. Ruber was correct. Your spontaneous creative self dwells in Framework 2. There, your nature is intimately known, with all of its unique characteristics and capabilities. There, automatically computations are made so that you will meet, in Framework 1, with the necessary opportunities, situations, or whatever it is that your circumstances require. Those desires of yours that are fitting to your nature will automatically come to pass, unless you block them through these advantageous beliefs. They cannot be blocked by others. If they seem to be blocked by others, that assumption is incorrect, based on ignorance. Imagine, say, a young woman named Sally. She deals with people very well, exceptionally well. She has a mediocre voice, though pleasant enough. For whatever reasons, she decides that she wants to be an opera star. The desire is not in keeping with her own abilities. It may have been triggered by envy of another person or for the sake of fame, but it does not fit her abilities. She may ignore the fact that her talents lie in having an excellent rapport with others. She puts into Framework 2 a desire that is not in keeping with her own bad development. She may train her voice, take lessons, while yet she is thwarted at auditions, until it seems people are against her. All of this is known in Framework 2. Even then, events will be arranged for her own good. She might, for example, through a series of seemingly chance encounters, end up in another branch of singing, less formal, where she also deals with her contemporaries, as in a music company. Those desires that are in keeping with your nature meet no resistance. They are in fact promoted automatically. Ruber's walking is a case in point. The idea about the seminars in an example of Framework 2's creativity, as it begins to provide goals that automatically imply physical flexibility and confidence. He is beginning to release the desire to walk normally, rather just to ask for improvements, for before he was not sure where he wanted those improvements to lead. The seminar idea means that he is changing in his mind, and that is where the changes must occur. The physical changes follow automatically. The desire to walk, released and expressed, again automatically triggers in Framework 2 all of the necessary conditions. The hints and clues then appear in Framework 1, and you build upon those significances. Before too long, naturally, without effort, Ruber will find himself visualizing himself outdoors, or in a restaurant, and the physical facts will follow. Before, his mental horizons did not include that activity. Already, at least mentally, he sees it can be easier to sit down in a bedroom. And that activity will follow naturally, without effort. Mental and physical events then form new organizations, and the interactions between frameworks 1 and 2 become quicker. And again, you have an accelerating activity. That accelerating activity is natural, as it appears in Ruber's writing. You form your reality through various mental and physical cues to action that you recognize, through the significances that you habitually accept. Left alone now, Rupert's thoughts are more positive, and the worries not as frequent. The significances change. Take your break. The way of least resistance is always followed for desires that are fulfilling and fitting to your nature. The only impediments are those you impose through your negative beliefs. Because the organization is so different, however, in a way you must forget cause and effect, for things fall into place almost in a circular fashion, even when nothing shows in Framework 1. If you have properly inserted your desire there, then all the proper circumstances and conditions are being brought together. Again, they may suddenly appear, or they may not appear in the order in which you think they should, because your vision must be limited in comparison to that available in Framework 2. I want to mention again that all kinds of events are involved with Ruber. For example, physical, psychological, and even social. His improvements of late are excellent and highly significant. They are the result of the faith you have built up thus far. Do not try to program the improvements. The descriptions given by James in the later part of the book actually apply very well to the creative medium of Framework 2, for your needs are anticipated and automatically provided for, if again you do not impede them through contrary beliefs. Ruber will surely feel more and more energetic, and even be provided with greater wealth of creative material, as the energy that has been used to maintain symptoms is automatically freed, transformed into those vital areas of his interest. In many cases of health problems, energy is actually being applied to block the body's normal healing processes. This is almost always the result of beliefs that do not fit in with the person's own best interest. Your social beliefs are of course important here, mathematical beliefs. In a vast number of cases, this represents a dilemma of a psychological or psychic nature. It is the body's attempt to cope in the face of the mind's confusion. I hope to go into the ways in which computations are made in Framework 2, and how they interact with your world. The body, of course, exists in Framework 2 also, or it could not exist in Framework 1 at all. You are in constant touch with Framework 2. Then, it gives you your life. I do not want you to put Rupert's normal walking in some indistinct distant future. On the other hand, I do not want to tell you it can happen tomorrow, because I do not want you to concentrate upon it. It can indeed, however, happen overnight. Your faith is the answer, and the use to which you put your creativity, for the more you apply it to Rupert's condition, the quicker the results. You must not be concerned with time. Yet you must have the faith that in your terms of time, Rupert's normal walking will come in an immediate rather than distant future. Rob noted to me, in answer, evidently, to some of our conversation before the session. They said you are already writing a book, you in Framework 2. It simply waits for the proper conditions here. I do not want to overstress. Yet again, it is important that Rupert use the words normal walking without comparing that desire to his present locomotion. But it must be the goal, clear and distinct. My hearty good wishes and a fond good evening, unless you have questions. Ralph said, I guess not. Thank you. Said good night.